Okay. Hello, everybody. Again, I am Amanda Schuler, the SGA Office Manager at MCLA. In case we haven't met, hello. Again, as Jen had said, we are going to start off our Leadership Summit with things all club members need to know. So again, we compiled as many different pieces we could in general that would help your club this semester and next semester through the year to engage and thrive, even in these unknown times for some of these pieces. Just a couple names I wanted to kind of put out there again as resources to you in all aspects for club pieces is Jenn Lebance, Director of Student Engagement, Natty Burfield, Assistant Director of Student Engagement, Chris Hantman, the SGA Advisor, myself, and then Meg Bantle, who couldn't be with us today, but is the SGA Programming Assistant in the office. First piece I wanted to talk about was club advisor. So every club has a club advisor per your constitution and per SGA. So the first piece I always want to recommend to all clubs is that if you haven't gotten a chance to yet, to check in with your club advisor. They are another great resource on campus for you to utilize, have them come to your meetings in different capacity levels, and again, utilize them and have a conversation with them on what you might need from someone. So again, connecting with them. If you don't know your advisor, please reach out to myself. We have the whole list, and if your advisor is in transition of any kind and has let you know that they may not be able to do their role anymore for your club, that is okay. We can help you in looking for a new faculty staff member on campus through that process. A few resources I just wanted to point out is that we have an advisor worksheet and an advisor contract, and I will show where those are on our SGA website a little further into this presentation. But those two can be helpful when communicating with your advisor on what you sort of have as expectations for your advisor, as well as sort of the pieces that you would like working with them. So some clubs may only check in with their advisor once a semester. Others may ask their advisor to come weekly to their e-board meetings, or again, sometimes you even want your advisor at different events or travel, which again, this year is a little bit different, of course, but those are what the advisor role primarily usually helps with. So I wanted to put that out there that if you haven't yet, please consider catching up with your club advisor. Few how-tos. I wanted to start off again with those student engagement guidelines that we have. I'm going to kind of click in here and switch over. So I might have to hit escape. Yep, thought I would have to do that. Please hold. Okay. Again, the student engagement guidelines for clubs and organizations, as well as just student engagement in general on MCLA's campus, has all information for clubs and organizations on meeting and events. We tried to break down everything that we could possibly think of to help you, especially this year, but we will be utilizing this for years to come. So as things change, we will be updating this guideline. In case you weren't able to make our club return to campus meetings where we sort of answered questions on these guidelines, that is okay. Please review these if you haven't been able to read through them, and ask any of us questions on these guidelines that you might have. Again, these are on the SGA website, which I will point out coming up, and are available in a hard copy. I can also send as well. Most of you may have gotten them when we emailed you them at the beginning of the semester. Okay, back to my presentation.
Amanda?
Yes.
We couldn't actually see the guidelines. You're only sharing your PowerPoint application and not your whole.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So let me see if I can go in. I'm going to close. That was the little hiccup I assumed I would get. Thank you so much, Kelly. And I just want to share that guideline. Okay, I apologize. Here that is. So again, just a PDF version of it. Talks a little bit about the SGA office, meetings and events, tabling, purchasing, which we will get a little more in depth within the other sessions, sports clubs and performance, equipment, and fundraising. So as I said again, we will keep continuing to update these as things change and progress. And so if you have any questions on any of that, please let us know. All right. And thank you for the update. And back to the PowerPoint, which I think is this one. Yes. All right. Reserving a room. Back on. Everyone good? Perfect. All right. So another piece is reserving a room. So as we know, this semester is more difficult in the sense of in-person and virtual. Again, we recommend that, especially for groups that are very large, that you try to do certain meetings or certain small meetings even virtually as possible. But we want to make sure that you can still engage with the other students and make sure your club is able to kind of connect and have that engagement piece there for the year. That's definitely very important. So we are still able to reserve rooms based on a few different criteria here. So I'll just read through a little bit of this and continue on. But to reserve a room, you must fill out a reservation form that we have. The reservation form can be found in your MCLA portal under forms. This form must be submitted at least 2 weeks in advance to ensure it so that we have enough time to book it for you and make sure it's still available. Again, for this year with everything going on, rooms are pre-set up to ensure social distance and safety. So in the past, you have been able to set up a room with specific tables and chairs and a different outline that you would like. Unfortunately, that this year we will not be able to do that, and so we just want to make sure that we let you know that these rooms are preset for those pieces. Capacity levels are listed, so you will know when you're booking a room how many people can be in that room at one time for your event. And please correct me if I'm wrong, Natty, but I believe that was correct. If you have any questions, though, about that form in particular, again, please see Natty Burfield in student engagement about that. Again, reserving the form is, once you submit it, it doesn't guarantee the room. So we want to be very clear with that. You must receive a confirmation in your email that would guarantee that the room has been booked for that time, date, and all the information that you had provided successfully. If there are any conflicts, the Office of Student Engagement will reach out and let you know for changes and suggestions. Okay, so just a visual so everyone kind of can see. So the first part, before we actually jump into the form, would be the room event calendar here that you can see with the little arrow. So on your portal page, if you click calendars, room event calendar, that shows all rooms that are right now confirmed and booked during the time and date. So you would click that. It would pull up these pages of the calendar so that you could pick the day that you would like to look at and check to see if the room that you're interested in booking has already been booked for the day and time you need it. So that way you can already kind of restructure, think about a different date, or just consider a different room for that day and time. Okay, so you would check there. Under the Forms tab, so right next to Calendars, you have the classroom request form. So if your club is meeting in a classroom style space, you want to make sure to fill out that form. If it is a non-classroom space, sort of like Sullivan Lounge or a couple of our conference room areas, Murdoch 208, you're going to want to fill out the non-classroom space request form for those requests. The registrars helps us out with the classroom space, obviously, for academics to be in there, but you obviously can use those. And then non-classroom, of course, can be booked again college-wide. So,
Amanda, can I just pop in for a quick
second?
Please
do. Please do.
Great. Just so you all know, if you are booking a meeting in a classroom, you need to let SGA know. When you book a non-classroom space, we, my office, when we send your confirmation, we CC SGA on it, so they're aware you're having an in-person event during the time of COVID. But if you do a classroom request form, they don't know to let SGA know, so you're going to need to let SGA know. So I know Crafting Club meets, I think, somewhere in Bowman. Make sure you're letting SGA know and be aware of when and what time and what location you're hosting an in-person event in.
Thank you for that clarification, Addie. Appreciate it. Any questions so far? I do want to keep going, and obviously, as at the end of this, we will make sure to open up questions, but just in case, I want to make sure everybody's good. Alrighty, and continuing. Just a few more pieces. So reserving a room to, I wanted to still keep this in because it's still important. Facilities, media, and catering. So when you would book a room, you'd have all these options to be able to make sure to set up the room again, as we had stated. how you would like it. Media, in case you need the laptop or a visual screen setup, anything media related, we would go through media services to offer that. That is still available, and most rooms are pretty much equipped with the laptop projector for you, so you might be all set, but it never hurts to check in with media services when you book a space like that to make sure you have what you need. And then catering, again, I want to say this to be clear, that you want to really read through and check those guidelines that we have, but we have that piece of catering where as long as things are pre-packaged, they can be there, but again, they won't be able to eat within the event or room space. It would be more like a to-go thing. So when you're considering food, really consider the purpose behind why you would need food at an event just at this time. And again, there are going to be ways to do this, and you can just keep myself in the loop on when you're interested in doing something like that, so we can work together on ordering, whether through Airmark or whatever outside catering, to make sure that those process and procedures and prepackaged food is individually wrapped correctly prior to your event. All right, I'm going to go through the SGA office a little bit here. Again, our office has tried to expand the hours based on limited capacity within the office. Again, clubs usually come up whenever they'd like, utilize all the resources we have, but that's a little bit challenging due to the capacity restriction for safety and social distance guidelines. So again, the SGA office for all clubs to be able to utilize is Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 7:45 p.m., and Saturday through Sunday, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. These are appointment only using the SGA office reservations link, which I will be clicking and showing you just after this, but I wanted to point out that, again, we will have any sort of service or reserving the room to do certain pieces will need to be booked through this link prior to utilizing. And so again, you'll actually be able to find it on forms in your portal page shown here, and student government forms listed right there. If you click that, it'll bring you right to it. So again, I'm just going to close out, but open up this new piece to send us to the student government forms page. Oops. Oh, where'd it go? I'll just use mine. Student government forms. And so here's the new website, in case some of you might not have been able to go onto it yet, for student government especially. Student government forms, right here, you'll see office reservation form. You want to click this. And this will bring up all the services in which we offer at the moment. So as you can see, we have create a club banner, purchase your club supplies using your purchase or your club money, request a pickup or drop off. And this is very generic, just for in case you need to pick up a printout that you need, drop off or pick up any club supplies that are in the office. It helps, again, to know when people are coming and going, to keep track and make sure that there's capacity in the room. So again, you want to click on whichever service that you need at that time, and then the dates and times that are available will pop up below for you to pick from. And so you can click, you'd come down, name, email, phone number is helpful, but again, it's optional at the time. And then below is more important for the information. So we'd like to just know ahead of time which club or organization that you'll be doing, in this case, a purchase process with one of our office staff, so we know which ones to look for your purchasing. And then will you be purchasing online or in person? We highly recommend online, where either myself, programming assistant Meg Bantle, or some of our office assistants can meet with you virtually and do the purchase right online together, and work together. But if there is some complex pieces, or if there's other extenuating circumstances where it needs to be in person, you would just click in person, so we know that we'd expect you to come up to the office, okay? But again, highly recommending at this time to try and do everything virtually as possible. I think that will just give yourself ease of access, when traveling over, as well as just a quick check-in with whoever and get those things ordered for you.
Hey, Amanda, it looks like you have a question in the chat. Do people need to make reservations to pick up packages?
It is highly suggested. It just helps us know that someone is coming for the package and who it might be. So it would be nice to do that. Sometimes I completely understand if you just are by and you want to pop up. We can sort of accommodate that since there is less traffic flow. But yes, great question. If you can, that would be awesome. But if it's real quick, not the end of the world. Just depends on the capacity of the office to come in. You may have to stand outside the door. Any other questions on this piece? Not at the moment? Okay, I'm going to switch back then. Sorry, keep switching. Okay. SGA office resources. So I just like to list out so you know what is in the SGA office. And of course, with this year, there's a few different pieces to it. But again, all clubs are able to utilize these resources to successfully run your club. Some supplies that we have in the office are going to be pens, markers, scissors, rulers, paints, paper, rolled poster paper. If you haven't seen them, they're like the big rolls of banner paper that are in there. And what I want to kind of suggest on this is we are going to create what we call craft kits. So whenever you come up to create some sort of artistic either banner or like visual representation you need for your club, we can give you out a kit with all of these supplies in it. And then when you return it, meaning within the office, we won't have them leave the office, but when you return it, we'll have you put them down, and an office assistant will help with cleaning those in between. So again, we want to make sure to give everyone clean supplies that go out, and then we would clean them to repurpose for the next group of people. And we will have 2 of those at a time. And as we start to see those of you book your reservations, we'll be able to gauge sort of where we are. But we will have at least 2 kits. Again, office capacity is very important. So even when you come up to create a banner or to utilize the office space, reminder that you may not be able to have your entire e-board there, but at least maybe 1 or 2 of you can be at a time. The die cut machine, so that is a letter press in itself. So then cuts the letters out for you, so you don't have to color in all your banner letters or paint them, depending on how much time we all have. So I just wanted to plug that we have that lovely little device. So if you haven't been able to come up and see it, again, we'll book that space for you, and we can train you how that kind of all works too in there. Some of you in the past have known that we've had computers and printers for you, and this is so that you can utilize and work on your club pieces. Unfortunately, keeping social distance and safety in mind, we have removed the printers, or the computers, I apologize, the computers, and the printers will only be available for an office assistant to be able to print for you, which just means that you would email sga@mcla.edu if you wanted to just do a quick visual you needed printed out, or say that for your banner you needed some extra pictures or visuals to put on there. Again, an office assistant or myself are available to do that for you. We just wanted to do less contact and cleaning of keyboards and different pieces. If we could just alleviate that and just click print for you and hand you the piece of paper safely. Club storage. Again, the SGA office has the storage closet that most clubs utilize. Some clubs have their own on-campus closet per a lot of different discussion and different pieces. But again, we do want to help your club store all the supplies and items that you purchase for your club. So that is in there. A big piece about that would be for club storage would definitely be where the pickup drop-off comes into play for that request. If you need to pick up your bin to do your in-person meeting, obviously, safely with your supplies. You would request a pickup and to pick up your supplies that you need, and then you would request a drop off too as well, so that we can come in, you can come in, drop it off, we can clean it off and put it back safely into the closet. For the piece about this is that I know some clubs, they have late night meetings, so you may pick it up in between our 9 a.m. and 7:45 p.m. Your club supplies for your evening meeting. There are two options that we can do with this. So the biggest piece of this is that we do not want you to have to hold on to club related items, college property, in your residence hall or in your apartment or home. So after your meeting, we do highly recommend that you bring it back up to the SGA office. Even if it's closed, the entire building does close at midnight. So I don't expect anyone to take it, but you can drop it off right there. If you are very concerned, you can hold on to it overnight, but we want to make sure we bring it back the next day. Again, to just wipe it off, make sure everything stays safe and clean. And again, to make sure that we don't mix up personal and college property together, because obviously I want you to have all of your items that are yours. And again, anything that the clubs purchase using club money is college property. So I just wanted to be kind of transparent about that and open. Any questions? Still good, great. Budgeting with help from BFC. So again, the office is still utilized for that. So if you have questions, any of us really can reach out and help you with budgeting overall. Again, we'll have our sessions a little later this afternoon on budgeting. And again, myself, the programming assistant, office assistants are all available to help you just brainstorm and if you need anything or any extra questions you have. So I just wanted to plug that piece as well. Just wanted to kind of reference budget paperwork and purchasing processes. So these are changing a little bit as we move forward and start to sort of, since last year, we have been trying to go very digital with things, starting with our online forms that some of you may have already started clicking on and working with. We are sort of changing those platforms just a little bit again. And again, we'll go over that piece as well. But so clubs looking to find their budget for the year, they may not have known their amount that they were approved yet. That is all going to be in the platform that Natty will be talking about called Presence. I think most of you have probably gotten access and have been able to click in and see that. So again, your budget is uploaded now in Presence, and any eBoard member that is listed as the roster of Presence can see that piece. It is the finance tab on the side, and again, I will be going over that section for treasurers for our next session, as well as the budget and programming Q&A. I can also go back over that piece for anyone that may be in transition to having a treasurer, or if their treasurer could not make it. So budgets can be found there. Expenditure request form. So we have called this a few different things in the past. It's either a credit card request form or purchase request form is what we've been utilizing a little bit this year. In Presence, we are going, again, fully to this platform for budget paperwork as much as we can. Some paperwork we obviously don't have full control over if it is not student government forms. It could be administration and finance forms that we need to still comply with. So we will work with that. But any purchase at all that a club will be doing using their money will be doing the expenditure request form moving forward. And that means the contract for services that I have listed next. We will still do contracts as we were supposed to, and I'll elaborate a little more on that, but we have to still do the expenditure request form for it to hit your budget correctly. Yeah. So I just wanted to kind of re-clarify that. So again, we will have this training, and again, we will post these again so that you'll be able to go through the step-by-step on how this new process will work. Contract for services. I just wanted to kind of reiterate that, you know, if you're a club that's interested in having any performers, DJs, speakers come to talk with your club, and again, we would probably recommend for this year virtually. If you haven't seen, there have been some virtual events already like this happening. These services usually require a contract for services between that business or person and the college. And so I wanted to be clear that we fill out one of these forms. That how-to is also listed on our forms website at the bottom, that SGA Forms website, on how to fill one of these out. The biggest thing I need to reiterate to everyone is that please keep me in the loop when you're interested in hiring or paying someone for a service ahead of time. Even with the approval or agreement that you have with that individual, until this contract gets signed by them and then signed by an official college representative, the agreement is not valid. So I just want to be very clear with that. You may make a great agreement with a DJ, and if things don't go all the way through to the college level, we will not pay that DJ, and we do not have to pay them until we fully solidify this contract for services. So I know in the past that's been a little confusing. So I really wanted to reiterate that. And again, if you're planning something like that, you really want to make sure to have this plan for 3 to 4 weeks in advance. So we have plenty of time to send out the contract to that person to sign, get it back, and do the process through the admin and finance system through the college. Any questions on that? Oh, great. And then lastly, I just wanted to say the budget process 2022, we usually go by fiscal year. That's why it's already seeming like, oh my gosh, we're already ahead. But again, right now we're in 2021, since it'll be 2021 year. So we'll be in the 21-22 school year budget process. This usually happens in the beginning of the spring semester. And I just wanted to kind of put that out there ahead of time that myself and the SGA treasurer, Kelly Garrett, will be doing a workshop separately to share with you how we will be doing that budget process of requesting next year's club operational funds. Okay, so I just want to put a plug in there that will be happening, but again, that will be sort of at the end of the semester is what we're thinking for a virtual workshop together to go over that process. A few things that SGA typically needs from clubs to just remain active, make sure that your archived information is as clear as it can be, is providing an agenda and meeting minutes along with attendance. We'll elaborate a little more in the secretary section, because right now we do have a form online that is active that clubs have been using, but we will be transitioning over to a presence process. Again, we're trying to kind of collaborate the two to still just use for you, but kind of put everything together in one location as best as we can. So again, it's very important that we have agenda, meeting minutes, along with attendance, especially during this time of year, especially in person pieces for contact tracing, et cetera, for safety. If eBoard members change at all, please update us as soon as possible. So that way, again, I keep a hard copy list for myself, as well as sharing out your eBoard if someone is interested in reaching out to you. Having the most up-to-date eBoards when that happens is beneficial for you to make sure I'm sending the right information to the right people in my email chain, and as well as on presence, which I know Natty will go over, but I just wanted to kind of reiterate updating as all the platforms as possible to make sure your eBoard member list is up to date. Constant communication throughout the year. So a lot of times I get emails from a few of you, you're just asking me a quick question, no problem. But I really want to make sure that you attach your club eBoard to all official emails. It just helps to keep clear communication between each other, between student government, between myself and your group as well, so we know that we're all on the same page moving forward, just again to better successfully help create all the activities and great things that you all do for the college and your student body. So please, when you're writing your email, consider putting your eBoard down as even just a CC, so that they're aware you sent the email, or that there's been correspondence. Even when you hit reply to something, remember to reply all. Just some of those pieces, even myself, I hit reply and I forget, but those make a difference to keeping everyone in the loop. I wanted to go over a few PR and posting details real quick with you of some options that you have, especially during this time. Some pieces are flyers. So flyers are still a great PR tactic on campus. So you must submit your flyer request to myself via email at least 2 weeks in advance. And so you would create your flyer, your visual, and you would email me it stating how many copies would you like, if you'd like them in color or black and white for printing, and confirming that the cost is coming out of your club's budget. So again, you as your executive board know what you would like to do and you'd approve this. So you would make sure to let me know that this can, and you have the funds to cover, really it's color copies especially. Black and white is free down in the copy room, and we'll kind of work on that process as we move forward. But color copies do cost about 6 cents a copy. So you want to make sure when you email me, you give me those 3 pieces so I know that I can review, make sure your flyer looks like it has all the information that it needs on there. And then I would print that for you, and we'd apply that to your budget as a cost. Copy counts. So usually we say that to cover the entire campus and bulletin boards within RPS as well as just campus buildings is 53 of the basic 8.5 by 11 sheet paper, or 26 copies of the larger sizes, preferably like 8.5 by 14 or 11 by 17. So you can do either one, but so just a reminder that the number of boards may limit you per like what size flyers that you have. Again, I want to make sure to reiterate the 2 weeks in advance, because again, even when I print them, I send them over to the student engagement office who will review and print them. They will put them, their employees will put them up around campus, but that could take a few days. So if your event is within a week, it may not get as great of a PR piece as if we had them, 2 weeks prior to when you need them. So just remember to think about when you're planning ahead, what pieces may need to be done ahead of time. So that way you can kind of grasp and get out there to as many students as possible, your event or meeting that you're planning. Questions on that?
I'll also just say, remember that if you're putting ones in RPS, you have double the steps, right? So you send them to the student engagement office, and then the student engagement office sends them to the RPS office, and then the RPS office needs to get the RAs to come down to pick them up to then post theirs. So if you're cutting it close on deadline, I would recommend just printing 17 and getting them to the campus, or getting them to student engagement to put on campus itself and not residence life, because that process does take longer. So don't waste your money if you only have like a week and a half or a week, right? If it's getting down to the wire, just make 17 and get them to us, and we'll get them up on our boards.
Thank you, Natty. Yes, I don't have it down, but yes, student engagement, if we were to separate those numbers, 17 could be the other number that you tell me. So that's why it's very crucial that you let me know how many you'd like to spend your funding on, for sure. And at the bottom here, I do have for color copies of your flyer, it will cost $3.18, and that math is the 53 overall times the 6 cents per copy of color to print. And so obviously, if you're just doing 17, that's less. Okay. I also wanted to reiterate this. I said a little bit about it, but I wanted to put this into the PR piece. Is banner space is available in the marketplace as another PR tactic for you to try and connect with to connect with students to join your club or come to one of your events virtually or in person. You would again still fill out the non-classroom space request form. So when you do that, it does ask you whether you're requesting a banner space or an actual physical physical space. So you'd fill out that form. You'd still want to get confirmation for the days and times, however long you're going to have that banner up for. And then once you get approved by that, you can create your club banner. So again, just kind of plan out your days, but creating your club banner, as you saw, you can book the SGA office for creating that banner and having time to utilize the craft supplies and pieces, print, cut off the paper and do that whole process. It must be stamped up and get approval from Student Engagement's office prior to being put up. So once you're complete with that, you would just go over and check in with them to see if someone can come over and make sure everything is listed for you on your banner. And then you'd be able to hang them up. I have down still that a banner can stay up for about 3 weeks. Natty, is that still realistic?
Yeah, roughly. I would just say the big piece is remember to go and take your own banner down.
Thank you. Yes, yes. So it is your responsibility. So as you do these pieces, right, we help a lot of times with flyers up and down. And again, they stamp the date. So we know that your flyers and or your banner are up until a certain date and time per whatever the PRing piece on there is. But please, please help us that when your event is over, the next day you go in there and take down that banner from it. And we are going to be utilizing the whiteboards in the marketplace. So we will be looking at doing the sizes. Some of you may have known that we've hung down the banners in the past. We will be going instead of vertical, horizontally. That could just give another dynamic, and as people are waiting in line, another way to PR to them. And then online PR posting details, I just wanted to share this one piece of it. If you'd like your flyer on the marketplace monitors, please email the studentdevelopment@mcla.edu email to ask to put those up on those marketplace monitors, and they'll work with you on scheduling that. Lastly, we did send out an email that I'm hopeful that most, or if all of you have gotten, about a club promotional video. We were thinking of different ways that you can virtually still recruit students to your club, and what came across was that, you know, a great video just explaining what your club is about would be a perfect way for somebody to just watch. Some of the criteria for that we've suggested is that it be a 30 to 45 minute second long video. Keeping it generic so that you can use it year after year, and that we can kind of post it as a general. So you don't want to introduce yourself personally and your position, because obviously in later years you will of course graduate, and so they may want to reach out to you directly, but you might be gone. So it's always best for this piece to have the generic piece of, you know, reach out to SGA for the updated, you know, list of leaders for your club. If you have a club email, you can definitely share it there as well. But just to give them a little snippet of what your club is about, what you do, and pieces like that. And so I believe we are going to post those for you on Presence. And then there's even the potential we could probably connect them with the SGA website, where we have clubs and organizations in your club descriptions listed as another option. Our programming assistant, Meg Bantle, had emailed, so she had provided an example, but also said you could use your phone. Zoom or Teams can even be available, like we are doing now with Teams, to record yourself or your group, to just say hello and sort of explain the club, add photos, whichever you want to do. Again, we want to reiterate that you must follow all guidelines still, rules and regulations that are in place as of right now. So if you are all going to be in person recording yourselves as a club, you have to be wearing your masks, considering like making sure social distance is followed, and all those pieces. Again, if you use Zoom or Teams, you would all be on the screen in your own rooms, in your own boxes, available to just record, and you wouldn't have to have the mask. But again, if someone's in with you in your space, you want to make sure that you're still following guidelines and have that mask to follow this to be posted. Once these are complete, you can upload them to Microsoft Stream. So again, Microsoft Stream is an app right through your 365 email, and I can resend out the details on how to do that. But again, once that is uploaded into your streams through your email account link or app, you can send Meg Bantle and myself the link that we can then use to post all over. So then the last thing I wanted to do here was just show you the example in case you haven't gotten a chance to see it yet, or, you know, dive into that email that Meg sent, so you can kind of see an example of it. So hold on one sec. I'm going to have to hit pause and escape out of this anyway to make sure you can see it. Thank you. Sorry, please bear with me. Okay.
We can't hear it.
Well, that's sad. I was doing so well. How do I share that?
When you go to click screen share, there's a little button that says share computer audio.
Thank you so much, Jack. I appreciate you. Let's try one more time, and then I swear. Play.
Welcome to the Beta Fish Club. This is a beta fish, also known as a Siamese fighting fish. They're kind of particular and don't like to live with other males of the same kind. In the Beta Fish Club, you can learn how to best take care of a beta fish and what to feed them and what habitats they like. We also get together weekly to talk about how our beta fish are doing and to plan events that are themed around beta fish. If you want to join us, you can find us on Presence. Thanks.
Oops, sorry. Okay. And then just my information, that is all I have to share with you at this moment. But again, we've got some really great workshops coming up that will get us to dive in a little bit more deeper into different sections to help your club successfully this semester and this year. So again, I am located